Ryan had, and you might even know the amount of threes made, but this past year, from a statistical perspective, you talk about like using the entirety of college basketball, everybody who played. When you look at the threes that he made at the percentage that he made them.
I think it was 104.
Yeah. And, Quincy broke Trayvon Blewett's record. And that's a record that you can make the argument could have stood a long, long time. That's not an easy record to break. And he did it in the final game. And Quincy was very efficient as well. If you look at Ryan, what he did at Indiana State, he actually made more threes than Quincy at an even higher percentage. And, I think that speaks to, your efficiency, Ryan, and you and I have talked a lot about it. I think it's a combination of a lot. Your mindset, your skill level, the offense that you played in, and it was just wired to be efficient. But when you now see the modern game and you picture how to play that game, share with everybody, because you've shared this really well with me from a player's perspective of like what shot selection means. And when people talk about playing the modern style of basketball, like I believe like you're wired, you play that already. Mm-hmm. What does that mean to you?
I think especially the way basketball's going now, like threes and layups really, just threes and layups. I feel like a lot of NBA players, especially, they're very efficient like in the mid-range game, but especially in college, it's kind of hard to get to the mid-range and really be scoring in the mid-range at a very efficient level, So, and then just being in like a really well-rounded offense, getting a lot of threes and layups, it allows you to play faster too.
Yeah.
So, and I love shooting threes and I love getting layups. So, I don't have any problem with it. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's something we've talked a lot about. That's something we're working hard with right now with our team here, just in the summer workouts, of just almost like a shot spectrum. Yeah. What's the shot we want and why? For example, sometimes a player doesn't realize if you're a good free throw shooter, let's use Ryan as the example, and you're 80+% from the free throw line, and you get fouled in a game and you got 2 shots, when you start talking about like points per possession, like there's nothing that we can do as a team or an offense to create higher value than that right there. So then it becomes, well, how does a guy like him get fouled? Well, most of the time it's going to be in transition. It's going to be a straight line drive. It's going to be like the ball moves and creates energy and puts him in a really good position to go at that defender, and then he gets fouled, good things happen. You talked about layups. We're not talking about the wide open layups. We're talking about like paint shots where he creates the advantage, and you're able to go up over a smaller player, potentially get fouled and score. Why is that such a great shot? Because if you look at his field goal percentage in that area on the court, it's incredible. And if he makes it, it counts for 2. The third one becomes a good 3-point shot, right? And what's good for Ryan could maybe not be as good for somebody else, but off the dribble 3, a wide open 3, a transition 3, being able to get a clean look from 3. Because you make it, it's 3 points in a possession, and he's shooting over 40%. There's really nothing that we can generate that would be better for our team. So when you start to think about it in those terms, good free throw shooters and good players getting fouled, being able to get to the paint in a good way and take a good one, and then being able to create wide open threes for a really good 3-point shooter. Again, when I watched him play last year, he talked about it, man, I was mesmerized by the shots that his team got, but in particular, how he took advantage of that system and being able to incorporate even more of that into what we do. And he said the word, when the game gets fast and there's pace, there's so many great things that happen with what I just talked about, because the other team and the coach, there is no scouting. You can't get it set. So I think being able to play at that fast speed and use those advantages, that's something that I think you guys are going to love watching him do for us.